That's your photo. Do you remember how old you were there?
I was there 15, 16 years old, something like that.
Now, was that a school photo, or was that a family portrait?
It was a family portrait. It was my birthday. My mother had two brothers which came to America, and they came during World War I. And the third uncle came in 1938. So my mother had two brothers, and they exchanged pictures. We received pictures of their children, and my mother sent the picture of her children. And one of those pictures was
survive.
I have nothing. I have no pictures. Whatever is in there was given to me by my family.
And that was a picture of you at the time?
That was a picture of me, yeah.
So what brought you to write a book?
I'm starting with my daughter's story. My daughter is a counselor in a high school, and the school was putting on a play about Anne Frank.
Mm-hmm.
And she said to me, "Mother, you know what? It would be so nice if you come to the school or speak to the students." And that was in 1977, I remember.
And
1977. And I spoke to the students, and that's the way she got me to speak to the students. And every year I live in Florida, but every year, summer, I used to come to Chicago, suburb of Chicago, for 3 months to spend with my daughter.
And your daughter is Gilda?
Gilda and Sally. Sally.
Sally?
Sally.
Now, who's Sally? Two daughters?
Daughter, my younger daughter. I have 2 daughters and 1 son.
And what's your son's name?
Harold.
Harold.
Yeah.
And where does Harold live?
What is he doing?
Harold live? Where does he live?
In Kansas City.
He's in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And your other daughter lives also in?
Suburb of Chicago.
In Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, you have 3 beautiful children, and how many grandchildren do you have?
I have 9 grandchildren.
Can I know any great-grandchildren?
Not yet.
Not
the
yet.
First wedding is going to be on July the 20th.
Okay.
The first wedding. It's my oldest grandson is getting married.
And as we say, it should be with lots of nachas.
Nachas, that's it.
Right. So I'm going to ask you a few other things. There was a time when you were put into a ghetto before you were transferred to Auschwitz. You remember the name of the ghetto?
Radziejow ghetto.
So it was in the town where you lived?
The town where I lived.
Now, from that ghetto, you were transported by train?
It's not so easy. They make the ghetto, and they put all the Jewish people in this one big, long street, packed in. And our house happens to be in the ghetto street after Hitler invaded Poland. And we used to have one family, but when Germany invaded Poland, and when they made the ghetto, 4 other families moved in to share our house with other 4 families,
Now, these 4 other families, did you know them before?
Of course, we knew each other. It was a very close-knit family town.
Now, would we call it a shtetl?
Shtetl.
Okay.
Shtetl. Yeah.
So we could call it a shtetl.
Shtetl, yeah.
So, if I understand, in spring of 1943, you were transported to Auschwitz.
You asked me before how, about the ghetto. From the ghetto, I went to Auschwitz. I didn't go from the ghetto, but that's the big story. We know that the Germans are going to send us away from our town. Everybody knew, but some people didn't believe in it. So we had neighbors who, our houses had an adjoining attic, and we made an opening between those. It's like here, each house is separate, and between them it's
a wall.
In Europe, most of the houses were built adjoined to each other. So on the attic, my parents had a bakery. That was the last business what they had were in. They had a bakery, and
A bakery.
a bakery, yeah. So on the attic, we made a big opening that we could go from one house to the other, to the adjoining house. And we made plans with other family. If we hear something that's they're gonna evacuate the town, we will all run at the attic and try to save our lives. We know what's happening, what the Germans are doing to the Jewish people. So early in the morning one day, I was there with my 2 brothers and 1 sister. The parents were in Quabos that time already. And I heard noise in the street. The Gestapo was shouting, Juden raus, get out of your houses, you know. So I had my nightgown on, or pajama, who remembers, and I put the coat over my body, and I took my 2 brothers. Being the oldest, took my 2 brothers and my sister. We went at the attic to hide. From the other side, the other family came. Was father, a husband and a wife, and three daughters. Jeta, Sala, Genya, Dora. There were four girls. And we were all hiding at the attic. And being at the attic, we heard the noise. We heard the shooting and screaming. People were screaming, you know what I mean. They didn't want to separate. It was calling names to get together, to be together. The family should be together. And then the Gestapo came to the house to check or some people are hiding there. But they couldn't find nobody. So 2 Gestapo came up on the attic from our bakeries, from our side. And they looked around, and we were hiding under the chimney of the bakery, which was a big chimney. We were standing behind it, of course, very quiet, afraid, you know, to open our mouth. And the 2 Gestapo came up, and they looked around with their lights, and they couldn't see us. They made one mistake. If they would bring the dog up, they would catch up right away. You know, we were lucky that they didn't bring the dog up. Now, from the other side, where the other family used to live, 1 Gestapo came up. And he noticed us, and he said, you then come on down. But this Gestapo knew the other family. The father of the other family used to make suitcases. He was a suitcase maker. And the Gestapo brought material, and he had to make suitcases for them. It was like forced to do that. You know, you couldn't say no to the Gestapo. And then with the suitcases, whatever they could grab from the Jewish people, they sent it to Germany. So he used to come into their house, and he knew the family. So one of these girls, Sala, I can see it right now, said to him, Mr. Grabkowski was, I could never find Grabkowski, something like that. She said to him, you used to come into our house. We were so nice to you. You were so nice to us. Leave us here. We come down later. He looked at us. And went down and knocked the door, closed the door, knocked, put the neighbors. They had to shut them so nobody would go in. The Polish people would not up, And I could hear, said to the other Gestapo, niemand is there. And he saved our lives. But I don't know what, one of my brothers, Berek, he was afraid. He said, I'm not safe here. He ran down and hid in the basement, and some Gestapo took him out from there. And of course, all the people from our town were sent to him now. That camp where nobody survived. Just by miracles. We stood on the attic till it got dark, and then we said, not too far from our town was another camp, working camp, for Jewish women and men who worked for the, building bricks, for a German company or something like that. So we knew that the other family had two brothers in there. They had two brothers in this camp, so we planned that something, if we survive, we were gonna go to this camp, we joined them, and let's hope we might survive there. It's just unbelievable. When it got dark, it was quiet in the ghetto, we left the attic, and we ran to the field to hide there during the night, and then in the morning we continue to this camp. And the one woman, maybe I shouldn't tell you that, one woman saw us running. She went to the Gestapo and reported that Jews are running here. The Gestapo came after us, but they couldn't see us. What I think, what is my feeling is, that's the same Gestapo who saved our lives on the attic, didn't want to turn us in. That he was the one who was looking for us, and he didn't want to turn us in. It's a miracle. It's just unbelievable that one Gestapo who took so many Jewish people to the sent to Helmna, you know what I mean?
Helmna.
And he saved a family, two families. It's just a miracle. Miracles. My life is miracles. I survive by miracles. There are so many miracles. If you read my book, you will know all of my miracles. I had my miracles. Somebody was watching over me. Somebody was watching. That I should be the only survivor of a family of 9 children and parents and grandpas and uncles and cousins. I should be the only one survivor. I am here to tell the world what's really happened. People have to know that never again a tragedy like that should happen. Not just 6 million Jewish people died. There were so many other people, millions of people, who also lost their life during World War II.
I'd like to ask you a question. There was a time when you found yourself on a train going to a destination,
Auschwitz.
but arriving at Auschwitz.
Auschwitz, yeah.
Okay. Tell me something. When you arrived at Auschwitz, was it morning, afternoon, or nighttime?
It was morning.
It was morning.
Yeah.
And it was the springtime, so it was probably still very cold.
It was, we were traveling about 3 days by the time we got to Auschwitz. We were about 100 people,
in a car.
In a boxcar, locked in this boxcar. And we had for 3 days, 3 nights, we had no food, nothing. And there, the boxcar, people needed
to go to the bathroom.
For the bathroom. So there was a little pail, and everybody went up to the pail. And the pail was up high, and they spilled on the
floor.
And the smell, and it was just unbelievable. It's just, you cannot describe things, what was going on there. People.
Did you?
We lost our hope. We lost our hope. We know that after something like that, nothing good can happen. You know what I mean? Nothing good can happen. Because you don't treat people like that. You put them in a car without windows, you know what I mean? For 3 days, no food, no water, nothing. In those conditions, what we live there.
In that car with 100 people,
yeah,
you must have known many of the people in that car.
Of course.
Any
the whole group. We were young people. That was in my car. The 100 people. There were young people they were closed. The German closed up. That was 1943. They closed all the working camps and took the young people, 20 years old, 18 years old, and maybe some were a little older than 20, and sent us to Auschwitz. You know what I mean?